Hey guys, Dylan Tommy here. Haven't cruised the Planet Tanks in a while, so I thought I'd take a walk tonight. There's a few things to update. I'd like to actually start right here at the newest edition, why not? Showed you this tank in one of the last updates, and I put a paradise fish in here. I've kept a lot of paradise fish in the past, lots of gouramis, lots of fish, labyrinth fish, and not too long ago, if you remember, I had a video where I introduced you to a blue paradise fish that I had planned to keep and grow out, and I actually ended up returning him to the LFS because of a damaged caudal fin, and I got this albino paradise fish in here now, and I'm going to grow him out, and we'll see how much potential this guy has. These tails, the finnage on these fish have always impressed me, and I really want to grow one of these specimens out just to see the potential in the tail. And like I said, I've always liked these type of fish, the anabantoids with their labyrinth. I keep Mojo in a tank that's kind of like this, just a 10-gallon naturally planted tank, and he does well. Let's duck down here and check out Mojo. See, his finnage is great. And he's been living in this tank almost 2 years now. He's not as active, but he's looking good. And the paradise fish, blue paradise fish, the paradise fish, has very beautiful finnage if you grow that fish out. So that's what I hope to do. Like I said, I had a blue paradise fish in the past, and that's an albino in there, so we'll see what's happening. Let's check out the guppies. The guppies have truly become my favorite tank just because there's so many in here now. They're breeding like crazy, and I told you these new males are just so much prettier than their father, and they've really gone to town breeding. And I've noticed that a lot of the new younger fry are actually females, so I expect more. The guppies have become my favorite tank. It's crazy to say that, with my Amuna and my Tanganyikans, but they're just awesome. All these different colors and, the variations you get. Look at Dad. He's almost changed colors, too. You see his tail? His tail used to be yellow. Now it's almost like a light blue. And there's Mom. She's ready to pop. Look at her. There's a female, one of the first batch. And I believe this female right here, just birthed not too long ago, and the young fry in the tank right now, the real tiny ones, are hers. Not these. These are, I don't know, one of the batches. There's just so many of them nowadays. They're great. I can't wait to really see these colors come out in these fish. Not to mention, I was so shocked to see these other males look so beautiful. Look at the red in this fish. A lot of good attributes on that guppy right there with the red and blue and the fancy tail. So we get some good genetics, and I really just started off with a pair of guppies to hang out with the Bardis, and that's how the tank evolved into a thriving guppy community. And that's how I do my fish keeping. I enjoy that. Let the tank become what it's going to be. And now that I have the cichlid out of here, it's a thriving guppy tank. I have some moss that I allow the fry to kind of hang out in and develop. It was more important when there was a predator in the tank, but he's not in here anymore. They still feed off all the debris in the moss, and it's just good habitat for young fry. But yeah, definitely dig in the guppy tank lately. It's funny, I love cichlids. Love Africans, but these guppies are just very cool lately. We'll keep rolling. I'm talk about my large planet tank and the transition. The swords and the Ludwigia on this side's doing very well, and I had showed you the red Wendetti last time we updated this tank, and the die-off was almost anticipated. I knew it was going to be a process. I wasn't sure how much die-off I would get, but a substantial amount. But I'm hopeful that all the rhizomes and all the roots in the soil will, develop into lots of crypts in that tank once they come up. Just like this one here. That plant is very much acclimated to the conditions in my tank, and it's doing well. So I'm hoping the same for all the other crypts that are buried in the substrate. This tank's been in good shape lately. Haven't really done much of it. I like the long fins in here. They do well. I'd actually keep them in a larger tank, but they seem to do okay in this 20 long. Very pretty fish. I like long fins. Longfin leopard danios right here. And I thought to put them in the 55 initially. I thought I would just kind of take a look at them in this 20 gallon and see how they did, and then eventually add them to the 55. But they've done so well in here. And I like that yellow look. It does so well with the bright green plants. We'll keep rolling. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Kind of just cruising the fish room, as usual. The Censis Tank. Let me show you the fry in here. They're just simply not fry anymore. And this tank probably is the dirtiest, needs the most maintenance. I let the debris kind of settle on top of all this Rotala. I've told you that they feed off everything in this tank. There's Mama. And if I sit real still for a minute, the fry will come out. But they've been trying to spawn again, and they're not too happy that these young fry are still in the tank. And that's just me. I wanted to keep the Censis colony going, and I think there would be another spawn if I remove these fry, because they don't need to be parented anymore. They're very large fish, and they do well in this tank. And if I could catch them, I'd pull all 7 of them out of here and let the parents spawn again. But I'm convinced now that they've stopped spawning simply because these fry are in the tank. Her belly's just not even as red as it used to be. She's just simply not in her dress anymore. I'm surprised I only see that one fry, and I don't see the male right now. Like all my tanks, I have a lot of thick vegetation, a lot of hiding places, all kinds of rock work, so they do well in these rich scapes. It's a pretty big fish. It's one of the larger ones. Go check out the Bardis. I like the Tanganyikan tank. It's done well. All 6 fish. They seem to compete. It's almost like the Bardis against the Julies, Almost working as a team, because these 3 Melamprologus Bardis, have a great relationship lately. They're constantly hanging out. I often spook the tank when I come in here, but once they're calm and they're set up together, the 3 of these Bardis rule the tank. Try to stay a little further back, but we likely have the Julies up here. They already took off to their corners. And we have these 3 down here. Such a beautiful fish. I told you I'd keep him in here alone. And there was a time he wasn't here alone, and I was just shooting videos of this guy because he is so beautiful. But I'm glad he has some tank mates now. Bit of a Tanganyikan setup, I'd hope. Tanganyikan cichlids, of course. And I like the shell work and, you know, the rocks I have in here. It creates a rich habitat. And that's, as you know, my style. Seem pretty calm tonight. Escape. I actually added some floating plants just to experiment in this tank. We'll see how they do. I have a power head up in this corner, so I have a lot of flow in this tank, and we'll see how the floating plants do. Just with the added fish and the maintenance of this tank, the continued balance, I tried to, you know, add a couple floating plants, see how they do. But let's keep rolling. Why not? We'll step out of here and we'll hit the Amuna before we call it an update. Some things to update in this tank. I lost my Kenyai. The Kenyai is gone, and it wasn't from aggression. Well, I guess it may have started off from aggression, but what had happened was she was either spooked, or he was either spooked or chased into a rock structure or into a wall, and was completely, you know, knocked out, you know, unconscious, you know, broken spinal column and death. And after I lost that fish and it was removed from the tank, the dynamic changed a little bit. I mean, we still got nubs on the bottom, but I noticed they've been a lot more aggressive to this little Snow White up here. And it's just because that extra big fish in the mix. We both have Wally and Tug kind of taunting this Sokolify here. So just with taking a fish out of the mix, it changes things up in the tank. Like right now, I haven't spent enough time in this room to really figure out what's going on. And of course we still got Mr. Man on top, but without that big Kenyai in here, who was like number 3 or number 4 in the order, or 4 or 5 rather. It's a different dynamic in the tank, and it's another big fish out of the mix, so they're all kind of jockeying for space and territory. And Mr. Man, as usual, trying to hold it down. But I did want to update that. I was upset because I kind of had saw it. I was in here, and it was just a quick little splash in the tank, like they had chased each other, and it wasn't really aggression. And I saw the fish dart, and it was dart into this corner. So she kind of he either bounced off this rock or bounced off the corner of the tank, and just it's almost instant death. She fluttered around for a little bit as if, you know, a seizure, and shuffled off this mortal coil. We still got Nubs down here. He's found that hole to retreat in, and if he slowly passes, I'll be okay with that too, because he's really had enough of suffering. I just won't euthanize him, you know. If he's gonna go in the tank, and I'm cool with that. That's my natural way. But there's the Amuna, and happy to give you guys an update. Like I said, they're dancing around in here tonight with this big fish missing from the mix. And we'll see what hierarchical conditions change after it's all said and done. But you guys have a good one. Tank on. Peace.